Hello, everyone. This is Bible Perspective. I am Brother Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. This is the channel where we analyze current events from a biblical and prophetic point of view. Today, I want to talk about mega church pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes' sermon in which he states that we are raising women to be men. And at the same time, this culture is raising women to be men, it is also destroying their femininity. It's destroying their ability to be feminine, to be women. Now, this is not a new topic, and I have actually talked about this to some extent in some videos some months ago. But suffices to say, I'm going to read this article, a portion of this article from Christian Post, based on some of the words and statements he said in his sermon, and then I'm going to give you what I personally believe is going on here. I believe that this attempt to elevate women in the place of men and then at the same time destroy their ability to be women or femininity and also to destroy the man's manhood is by design. Okay, by design. So let's get into this. And you know, this is a good thing really, because we had just dealt with another mega church pastor, Creflo Dollar, preaching a sermon on how that paying tithes is not biblical, and told his congregation to get rid of all of the books and tapes that he taught about tithes and so forth. And that was so radical and dismantled so many people that it really caused a lot of ruckus among the body of Christ. Now it's good to hear a mega church preacher get up and speak out against the craziness that's going on in our society. So many pastors and churches don't want to say nothing about it. And when you have this kind of platform where you're reaching millions and millions of people, not only in this country, but all over the world, it's good to hear a mega church pastor speak out against the nastiness that's going on in our society. So let's see what Bishop T.D. Jakes has to say. Mega church pastor T.D. Jakes suggested in a recent sermon that families are being lost in contemporary culture because, quote, we are raising up women to be men while subverting their femininity. The comments made by the leader of the Dallas-based megachurch, the Potter's House, came during a sobering Father's Day message billed "Real Men Pour In." So this is a pretty old sermon, but it's still timeless, at least according to what I'm reading here. The message currently has nearly 600,000 views on YouTube. In his message, Jakes explained that there is a divine order of creation, and when men are led by women, it breaks the divine order. Real men pour in, Jakes said. If Adam had not allowed Eve to pour into him, sin would have never come into the world. So he's suggesting if Adam had not allowed Eve to pour into him, sin would not have come into the world. Sin came into the world because Adam broke the order. To some extent, yes, true. To some extent, God gave Adam, when he created Adam, of course, he created Adam first. Eve came, second. But God created Adam first, and God gave his law and ordinances to Adam before he gave it to Eve. So in essence, Adam did break the order, the natural order of God's system. But here's the thing, though. Had Eve allowed the Holy Spirit to pour into her, and she began to talk to Adam, this would not have happened as well. Eve allowed Satan in the form of the serpent to pour into her, and then she poured into Adam what Satan poured into her. And that's what broke that. I wanted to add to what Bishop T.D. Jakes said. That's what also broke the order, because Eve was listening to the wrong voice. There was a satanic voice pouring into her, and then she poured into Adam, and Adam received what she was receiving from Satan. And that's what also corrupted the divine order. But anyway, he goes on to say, we are not designed to receive from women. This is what Bishop T.D. Jakes says, okay? Your self-esteem is comprised when you have to ask your wife for lunch money. And Adam, all of a sudden, has allowed the curse to come because he stopped pouring, Jakes explain. Okay, you said your self-esteem is comprised when you have to ask your wife for lunch money. Okay, I get it. I get what he's saying is that a man's self-worth is basically hurt when he asks his wife for money. lunch money is he's being metaphorical. When he's basically saying when you have to ask your wife for money, your self-esteem is being basically compromised. And in a sense, he's right, because men are by nature and by God's design providers. But at the same time, the wife is there to help the man in however way she can. So if he's in a situation, if he's in a situation where he needs her assistance with something, he's not being less than a man by asking her. He's really humbling himself and saying, okay, babe, I need you to come in and help me with this situation. I'm having a hard time here getting this. The money that I have and the money that I'm making is not enough. Okay. And I need you to come in because we're living in a different time now. The cost of living is high. I don't need to repeat that. We're living in a different time, a different era. And if you're going to be a man, you're going to need to make some real big time money if you want your wife to be the one to stay there all day and stay at home. On the flip side of the same token, if she's working, clearly she's working to help with the household, right? If the man is working and the wife is working, then clearly she's working to help with the household. So that means if something happens where the man gets laid off or they cut his pay or whatever the case may be, husband's pay, then the wife is going to have to come in there and give him that lunch money because he's going to need that lunch money. Okay, so in this sense, no, it's not necessarily, I don't believe his self-esteem is compromised. Okay, I don't believe his self-esteem is compromised if he asks his wife who's working, okay, who may be working at that time for lunch money. Okay, I don't think his self-esteem is compromised, but it will be compromised if he becomes dependent on her for this all the time. If he says, oh, well, okay, this is what she's going to do all the time, then, hey, I'm cool. I don't need to do anything extra. I'm cool. That's when it becomes compromised, okay, in my view. Okay, anyway. The Dallas pastor warned women to, quote, be careful about pouring too much into us because we are designed to pour into you and you are designed to take what we pour into you and increase it to make it better. I agree with that. To some extent, men are designed to pour into the woman and the woman is designed to receive that. She's a receiver. Okay, what Bishop T.D. Jakes is saying here echoes the teachings of the late Dr. Miles Monroe in his book, Understanding the Power and Purpose of Men. And essentially, the late Dr. Miles Monroe said basically the same thing. He also wrote a book called Understanding the Purpose and Power of Women. And in that book, Dr. Miles Monroe lays out this concept that the woman is a receiver and the man is a giver. So it coincides with what Bishop T.D. Jakes says here about the man pouring into the woman. Men are always teaching. They're always giving information, always teaching. They're not doing this because they trying to show how macho they are. They're doing it is because it's in their makeup. God designed them to pour into. God designed them to be teachers. God designed them to be givers. It's in their nature. That's why you see men do this all over the place, whether they're saved or unsaved, because it's in their nature. But let's move on. I'm gonna say a few more things here. Then I'm going to give you some deeper analysis of this. He acknowledged that his message goes against the dominant message in today's culture. Still, he stressed that this disruption of God's order destroys families. He says, this breaks all the sociological order of the culture we are living in now because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are. Absolutely. And you're climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families, Jakes declared to applause. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away, he continued. Absolutely. The conversation has become, let's prove to the men how dispensable they are. And it is born out of pain because we hurt you and betrayed you and lied to you and cheated to you. And you came became out of pain. But watch what is born out of pain, Jakes warned. And I'm going to stop right there. You guys can read the rest of that article in your own free time. But I wanted to say this right off the start. He's right about that to some extent. But let me say something about the last quote that I read there, where he says women are acting this way because men have hurt them and so forth. That's only partially true because there are a lot of men that have not hurt women. Why would you come out? Why would a woman come out and mistreat me and do all these things to me and show me personally how she doesn't need me when I didn't do anything to her to hurt her? I didn't neglect her. I didn't abuse her. I didn't cause her any pain. I'm a good man. Why would you be doing that to me? Why would you be acting that way to me? And I want to surmise with this. And I said this earlier, and I said it's in some early videos. This attempt to make the woman replace a man and destroy the image of the man is by design. This is in part initiated by radical feminism and radical feminists. Now you may be asking, what is a radical feminist? Now feminism is, basically a subtle form of feminism in its subtlest form and mildest form is pushing for equal rights for women, which is nothing in and of itself wrong. There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. I get that. But radical feminists believe that the marriage is an institution of slavery. This derives from Marxism that was initiated by Karl Marx in 1848, and who is a founder of communism, and Karl Marx believed in the 1800s that all societies are made up of the oppressor and the oppressed, and that in order to overcome the oppressor, you have to destroy the oppressor through a revolution, a Marxist revolution, in order to reform it again into a communist country. Radical feminists derive their worldview from this Marxist ideology. And they believe that marriage is an institution created by the oppressor man, and it's designed to enslave the woman. So in order to be able to overcome this system, they set out to destroy the image of the man and elevate the image and promote the image of the woman. You see this in everything: movies, commercials, sitcoms. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed in a lot of these latest movies that you have these women beating up on these burly men, and these women weigh like 20 pounds and the men weigh 200, 300 pounds. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. And you see these women beating up all these burly men without breaking a sweat. That's part of feminism, radical feminism. The purpose is to destroy the image of man any way they can. And a lot of these movie directors and writers of screenplays and writers of sitcoms and in books and so forth are radical feminists or support radical feminism. Some of them are men. Can you believe that? And the purpose is to destroy the image of the man and replace it with what is called the matriarchal head. So the purpose is to destroy the patriarchal head, the man, by any means necessary, and to replace it with the matriarchal head, the woman. So what we're seeing in our society is what Bishop T.D. Jakes was saying is a concerted, willful effort to destroy the image of the man and to replace it with the image of the woman. Now, going back to this spiritually, this clearly reflects the destructive nature of Satan. Let me say this. Satan wants to destroy everything that represents God and represents good. But he just doesn't want to destroy everything that represents God because he's mad at God, because God kicked him out of heaven, and he's mad about Jesus, and he's mad at Christians, and he wants to destroy them. It's more than that. That's just rage. Satan is calculating. He has a plan. What is the number one thing that Satan wants? Worship. Did not he state this in Matthew the 4th chapter when he came to Jesus Christ and tempted him and was trying to tempt him? And what in Matthew the 4th chapter did Satan say on that mount? What was one of the things he said? If I will give you the kingdoms of the world if you bow down and what? Worship me. In the book of Revelation, Satan is going to incarnate himself in the beast, i.e. the Antichrist. And what does the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter says? The whole world will what? Worship him. So what Satan wants ultimately is worship. So in order for this to happen, Satan has to destroy the current order. Anything that reflects God, Satan has to destroy it and replace it with his worldview in order to receive worship. So I just wanted to end on that note. I just wanted to add that to that. But it's good that a mega church pastor like Bishop T.D. Jakes recognizes what is going on in our society and speaks out against it. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again on Bible Perspective.